Hey, this is Ted Washington, former All-Pro, drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. You're listening to Matt and Dexter on The Grueling Truth.
Garoppolo, deep down the middle, that's a lift-off. Shanahan and Jimmy, Bill in Montana. Speaking for the Empire, salute from Santana. Yeah, handoff, down the middle. Beast through the D-line and made him look brittle. Out of nowhere, Sherman in the corner. 6 the other way, huh? Kings of California. Every breath, tribute to the greatest. Dwight Clark in our heart since the catch when he made it.
As we build, brick by brick, no imitation, just be patient while we reppin' the nine. We were the 49ers. Who are we? We're the 49ers.
Hey everyone, my name is Matt, and you are listening to the 49ers Weekly Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. Brought to you by Replenishing Care Technologies, the future in sports medicine. Check it out at thegruelingtruth.com. I'd also want to welcome in our co-host for the 49ers Weekly Show, Dexter Carter.
It's great to be back again. Excited about the 2019 season. Some great things are going on. Excitement is going through that 49er facility and the 49er faithful. So, hey, it's going to be awesome talking about it today and seeing, as we get this preseason started, what the prognosis is. So looking forward to it.
Exactly. That is kind of going to be the goal today. We're going to get you caught up on training camp. If you haven't been able to pay attention, we're going to do our very best to get you caught up on the highlights and even a couple of the lowlights. But also we've got the first preseason game, like you said, on Saturday. That would be August 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. The 49ers will be kicking off the preseason against the Dallas Cowboys. So we got a lot to run through here. So let's get right to it and get to the offense. What's been going on in training camp? Well, I'll start it off. It looks like from what I could see, the offense started out a little bit shaky. And I guess that's kind of expected, but it does look much better. In your experience, how was it? Was that kind of how it went for you guys in training camp? Would the offense start out sluggish, the defense kind of have the advantage, or what was it like for you in your experience?
Well, it's always across the board, whether it's high school, college, or professional. In those early stages of a new season, the defense is always ahead because, they have a scheme and a system, but they can go out there and just let loose and go at it. Offensively, there's more technique involved, and they've got to know assignments, even though they all have assignments. But offensively, it does. It takes time to gel together. And the 49ers especially, having Garoppolo back, and having, him try to, gel with those receivers and the running backs, it takes some time. That offensive line, they've got to, take time to gel, even though they may have played together last season. But it takes time. But at the end of the day, it all comes together right before the season starts. And hopefully they'll be, like a well-oiled machine, come the beginning of the season. But going against the Cowboys this week, both of these teams got, in my opinion, they both are looking for really, really good seasons and competing for the, division championship. So although the starters won't play a lot on either side, I still think they both want to be successful in the effort that they put forward. So it's going to be an exciting game, I think, surely early on. But, you got a lot of guys trying to make the team, that's going to put some great effort, in that second quarter through the fourth quarter. So it will be an exciting game to watch.
Oh, no question about it. With the offense kind of getting back on track on those last few practices, one of the things we definitely saw was Jimmy Garoppolo looked much sharper than he did the first couple of practices, and he's hitting those deep balls, and he's getting a lot of really nice throws made for touchdowns in the red zone. And that's really what the 49ers need to do both in the preseason and in the regular season is get that red zone improved. And so let's go through a little bit of the skill positions. I'll talk about the wide receivers, and why don't you can round it out with the running backs.
Absolutely.
So obviously George Kittle, from what we saw last year, everyone knows he's the number one threat in the passing game. He's the one that everyone for sure respects given his record-setting season last year. And he looks more aggressive this year, especially in traffic. I saw him make a few really nice contested catches. And so if he can do that, especially in the red zone, that's going to be big. And then the other things I saw were Deebo Samuel looks really good. He should play an immense role, especially in the red zone with his slants. They say he's just killing people with slants, and that's really what his MO is. But the other guy that I've got my eye on is Trent Taylor. He is healthy. He had a back issue last year, and he is explosive. They're saying that he looks much, much better than he did last year, coming off that back injury. He looks like he did at the end of 2017 when him and Jimmy Garoppolo connected for all those catches. So he'll have a big role, and when we know obviously Dante Pettis will have a role as well.
Absolutely. And just to before I get on the running backs, I just gotta just jump on top of you with this receiving group. First of all, Garoppolo coming back from the knee and having to really become accustomed to that knee brace. I know he's being probably conditioning prior to training camp with that knee brace on just to see how it feels. But that knee brace, I mean, it changes, the velocity of your ball, your deep ball, the distribution of weight. That's why you saw an improvement in him after the first few days, because one, he's in a competitive environment and he's balancing it out now. So he's going to get better as time goes. But I tell you what, as you mentioned, the guys he's throwing this ball to, I'm telling you, I agree with you. Pettis, Goodwin, Taylor, Kittles, there's no way, in my opinion, I think by the time midseason come, they're going to be one of the top, 10 groups of receivers in the league. If they stay healthy, man, it's going to be awesome. And then to throw in that running back tandem, we've been looking forward to McKinnon coming back, who just got cleared, and I think he's going to be as exciting and to me compares to the running back from New Orleans, in my opinion.
Oh, Alvin Kamara.
Hey,
yeah,
absolutely. It's going to be exciting to see those two guys, because I think they're going to be two of the top ones this year. But then Tevin Campbell, I mean, he fits exactly.
Tevin Coleman.
Thank you very much. I'm thinking about the singer back in the day, Tevin. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the boy can sing. The boy can sing. But yeah, Coleman. I mean, he fits exactly what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. And then Matt Breida proved last year, hey, he could carry the load. So we've got three guys that equally can rush the ball, receive the ball out of the backfield, and fit exactly what Kyle Shanahan wants to do with this offense. Again, if both of those groups, receivers and running backs, stay healthy and Garoppolo can do what we know he can do, man, this team, has the making of one of the top groups, surely in the NFC.
Yeah, I think so too. The running backs really look to be deep, because not only do you have Jerick McKinnon, who can do all those things, kind of like you were saying with Alvin Kamara, and then you've got Tevin Coleman, who can do so many things. He could even line up in the slot. We know what Matt Breida can do. And then you still have Mostert, who was really good last year. So you got four really good players back there, and Kyle Juszczyk at fullback, who I think he's going to be the guy that gets lost in the shuffle as far as defenses go. They're gonna lose sight of him, and he's going to make big plays. And then, like you said, Joe Staley leading this group. Joe Staley said he's really benefited a lot from these reps against Nick Bosa, and that's pretty impressive when you're talking about a guy who's only been out there a couple of weeks against a 14-year veteran. So I'm excited to see what this offense can do, and that really is going to be the theme, is if these guys can just stay healthy. And we've been saying that for a couple of years now, but they really have a lot of talent here.
Hey, a lot of talent, and not only, if we can keep them healthy, but it's what it usually takes. Sometimes it happens fairly quickly, but usually 3 to 4, maybe 5 years to get the players in to fit the system that you want. And 49ers are at that point where they got the right guys in the right position to fit their offense and defensive systems, which really there's no excuses. There are no excuses. Like Eddie DeBartolo used to say, do you guys have everything you need? And if you have everything you need, we've given you guys, everything you need to put the right talent in place. So you know what, let's go out and let's get it done. And I think that's where the 49ers are this year. So no excuses now. We just got to keep guys healthy and be smart during preseason. There's guys that are being held out, in the early stages of these preseason games, and rightfully so. You don't want to get these guys banged up, especially ones coming off of injury. Now, Garoppolo, he's got to get a little bit, work in there to get his timing down, and his confidence up. But, after the first few practices, I think, like you said, there's he's much improved from the first couple of days. So it's going to be, the making of an exciting season.
Right. So shifting over to the defensive side of the ball, everything that we're reading, everything we're seeing, all the videos that I've watched, this defensive line really could be dominant this year. If these guys stay healthy, DeForest Buckner basically said, you pick your poison. You're going to have Dee Ford and Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas coming on the edge. And then if you want to step up, you're going to go right into Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner. That doesn't bode too well for offensive lines this year. And that's exactly what the 49ers have been missing. So unfortunately, there were a couple of injuries. Dee Ford has a knee issue, which apparently he has every season. So he's I guess it's some kind of tendonitis or something like that he has some kind of issue with in the off season, and then he's usually good to go in the regular season. But it's still not something you want to see. So they're going to be cautious with him. And then Nick Bosa suffered a high ankle sprain on Wednesday, which no one really wanted to see because he just came out of, I believe it was like a hamstring. And so they're going to hold Nick Bosa out of preseason completely. He should suit up against Tampa in week 1, but so it's not something you want to see. But I guess, like you said, you got to be cautious. You got to hold the right guys out at the right time and not risk long-term injury.
Absolutely. And what you see, in Dee Ford, he's experienced this prior to, so he knows how to manage this. The team had to understand a little bit of that whenever they, brought him over. But it's just a management thing. Now, Bosa, he's like any young kid coming in. Extremely talented, but it's a different type of conditioning. You can condition in college, you can condition during the off season, but it takes, it's a different type of training. So you know what, this isn't long term. His conditioning or training will catch up to his body because he's incredibly athletic. So he's going to be all right. But again, nowadays, you have really got to be smart as coaches and trainers and know, okay, do we need this guy in here right now? No, you don't, because you want to make sure that when season, game 1 comes in the regular season, you want these guys ready. So Bosa's going to be fine. He's not out there right now making it any worse. So it's about, understanding exactly your body and understanding if you are hurt or have something tweaked within your body, giving it the right amount of time, to get back where it needs to get so you can be competitive and go 100% on the field.
No question about it. That is exactly how it is. They've got to be careful with them, and like you said, they don't need to be out there right now. Obviously, you'd like to see them get a couple of reps in those first couple of series in a few of these preseason games, but it just isn't worth a long-term injury. So it's going to give the younger guys an opportunity to step up as well. Guys like, talking real quick about the linebacker core. One of the surprises in camp is 5th-round pick linebacker Dre Greenlaw. They're saying he's the front runner to start at Sam potentially. He's been really good against the pass. He stops the run, and he just looks fantastic so far. If he could beat out a guy like Malcolm Smith, that would be 2 quality linebackers that this front office has found in the 3rd and 5th round. That would be really good. And then you pair you team them up with Quan Alexander, Tampa Bay said he was the heart and soul of their defense. I'm really looking forward to him coming in, being one of the leaders on defense, forcing turnovers and doing the things that he did really well before his injury. And then to round out the secondary, Richard Sherman is healthy. He looks like his old self, and something that we all wanted to see. Ahkello Witherspoon is healthy, and he looks much improved. And he's battling with Jason Verrett. Now, he also went out with a minor ankle injury, so he's going to be limited as well in preseason. But he's looked really good when he's out there, so they're not expecting him to be out long term. So that bodes really good for the defense. And then there's Tavarius Moore, who's getting a lot of reps at free safety. They're saying he's probably going to start over Jimmy Ward at this point. He's not all the way back, so we'll see what happens when Ward's all the way back, who they end up going with. But I like the idea of Tavarius Moore challenging Jimmy Ward for that starting spot at the free safety. And then lastly, The punter.
Yeah.
Wisnowski looks incredible. His hang times are like 4.5 to 5 seconds, and he's constantly pinning the ball inside the 10. That would be one heck of a weapon if he's able to do that during the regular season. So there you have it. That's kind of the defense and the special teams so far. And so we're gonna jump right into that preview. But what are your thoughts on the defense from what you're seeing so far?
We've talked for years about a couple of things. One, we felt good about the defensive line, and those guys, Armstead and Buckner, you know what, they're just what we expected. And then they bring in, these other guys to complement them and the depth of that defensive line now. I mean, it's going to be, incredible. It's going to make, the back end of that defense even better. Now, if the secondary never changed from last year, Sherman's still there and he's better. And Ward has his challenges, but very athletic, and they've given him time to develop. And he still may be second team. But with that defensive front and that linebacker core, it would have made the secondary better anyway, just because of the pressure that would be, put on the quarterback. But now you've got extreme talent back there in that secondary. I mean, from the front end to the back end, the potential for this defense to really be great, and then have a punter who can put the ball, within the 20 every punt, depending on where the offense, gives the ball up at. I mean, this entire team, as we've talked about the offense already, and then just hitting the defense and the punter, kicker, that's another whole thing there. I mean, that we have we're optimistic about.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I mean, but this team, after 4 years plus, they have got the right guys, a mixture of young, old, and experienced. They've got the right players to fit exactly what they want to do. And again, if this team can stay healthy, I'm telling you, they can compete for that division title.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. If this team's healthy, this could be an 11-win season. And depending on how those division matchups go, they could definitely hang with the Rams and the Seahawks and win this division. But they got to stay healthy. So here we are. We're now we're recording on Thursday. So Saturday, August 10th, 9:00 Eastern time, Dallas Cowboys against the 49ers. Here's a list of the guys that are probably not going to play. Jimmy Garoppolo, they already said, is not going to play. Matt Breida is not going to play. Bosa, like we said, is out for the preseason. D Ford, Jason Verrett, they probably won't play. The other guys that probably won't suit up are Jimmy Ward, Jerick McKinnon, Armstead, Goodwin, Malcolm Smith. And, there's just expect a limited role for most of the starters. I would not say that's a big deal. Because in the first week, I'm looking forward to seeing it's kind of the battle of the backup quarterback. There's a bunch of really good position matchups like receivers, secondary, and even at linebacker. And so there's guys fighting for their jobs. So I expect to see a lot of the young guys out there, and that's really what this game's going to be about.
Right. And you mentioned about the quarterback position. It's going to be exciting and interesting, because those two guys, Mullins and Beathard, one, they can lead this offense. So the ball's going to be put where it needs to be put. You're going to have smart and intelligent play at that position. So those young receivers, those backs who are trying to, catch the coach's eye, you know what? You've got two quarterbacks that are going to get you the ball, and going to lead that offense. So just do what you're supposed to do, be where you're supposed to be, and you've got the right leadership there. So, and Beathard wants to come back and have a great showing. We know Mullins is going to get out there and, and manage and control, that offense. So that's going to be exciting too. So you're not going to get bored from an offensive perspective. And even on defense, you're still going to have some guys that are trying to make the ball club, that are trying to get on that depth chart. So, it'll be a battle of, the reserves, the Dallas team and for the 49ers. So it's going to be, an interesting game, and hopefully, get some quality work for those young guys.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited to see some of these battles. I guess C.J. Beathard's going to start, so we'll probably see Mullins more in the second half, which will be good. I think Beathard is he knows very well what everyone thinks of Nick Mullins and how well he played last year, and so he's got to be thinking, hey, I'm still here, and I had some quality starts as well. And so I'm going to be doing my very best to make sure that I don't get I don't want to be third string, and nor do I want to be off the team. So I expect C.J. Beathard to put forth his best effort, and there's some receivers out there that are going to be fighting. We kind of already know who's probably making the team, but you got Kendrick Bourne, who's had a really good camp. Richie James is looking to catch the coach's eye, and Jordan Matthews, the veteran who's playing on a 1-year show-me deal, is those three guys are probably going to see the most action, and it's going to be interesting to see how they fight for that last spot on the roster.
You can look for some of the same there on the defensive line. You can expect Ronald Blair, Julian Taylor, and Sheldon Day to be showcased because those guys, want to be seen by the coaches. They want to show that they know their technique, their assignments. So they've got a chance, to make this team and be, quality backups. They're fighting for roster spots, but they could be traded as, they are deep in the line. The 49ers, they've got depth already. So, anytime that is the issue, you're auditioning for other teams. So you do want to go in the game and you do want to play well. So we should get a nice look at these guys. And over at the corner position, Dante Johnson, Tim Harris, and Greg Maven, they would get a lot of looks, there, because, you got the starters resting, don't want to put them into the game, but you got the guys I just mentioned, and they're trying to make a look too. So, hopefully they can go out there, and be competitive, play well against those Cowboy receivers.
Exactly. There's they brought Dante Johnson back. He was drafted in 2014, so he's looking to make a name for himself. But one of the guys I like is Tim Harris, and you also mentioned Ronald Blair. Ronald Blair had a really, really good season last year. He had a quiet 6.5 sacks, but he looked really good. He was disrupting the backfield. And, that's really the unfortunate thing about having a lot of depth is some of these guys are going to be traded. Another guy that's looking to see some action is Adrian Colbert. Free safety is truly up for grabs, and he has been a starter. Jimmy Ward kind of is the favorite at this point. The coaches like him, but with his injury past, it's up for grabs with Tavarius Moore getting most of the reps, but Adrian Colbert's going to have a chance. So we'll see what he can do. And then the last guy that I want to mention is Malcolm Smith. They brought him in 2 years ago. He's one of the veterans. He was the MVP of Super Bowl 48. And he hasn't really been the same due to injuries. But if he can go, they're going to play him a lot. And he's not only fighting for his starting job, he's trying to keep Dre Greenlaw off that starting job. But, he could be left off the roster due to his health. So he knows that. And so he's going to be out there doing his best against probably I wouldn't be surprised if he's out there most of the game against the Cowboys reserve. So we'll see what these guys can do. But a lot of really good matchups, a lot of good camp battles, and just battles for these last few roster spots.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for these guys to win a job. They knew that they had a long shot whenever they came into training camp, but there's a lot of long shots that made it. We can give many examples, but I love to, mention Terrell Davis. Started, got his break on special teams and look, Hall of Fame. So you never know. If you got the opportunity to come into a training camp, take advantage of the opportunity that you have. And that's what these guys have, either a job with the 49ers or a job with another team. But nonetheless, you have an opportunity to perform and do well and catch somebody's eye.
That's for sure. Now, I know we didn't get to, every position battle and all, some of the undrafted guys, like there's a couple of tight ends and some of the backup offensive linemen, but we'll save that for maybe next week. But for now, that's kind of where we stand. The training camp, I think, went pretty well overall. There's a few injuries that got a little nicked up, but it'll be nice to see how the team comes out and how they fare against the Cowboys on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm looking for a great outing also. They've been going against each other, practice. They've had a long, off season. So they're ready to get out there. The ones that are going to play, they're excited, and they got lots to play for, whether they're reserve, starter, free agent. They've got the opportunity, to play in the NFL and make their mark. So this is the beginning of maybe some long careers.
Most definitely. I think I speak for both of us when I say we're looking forward to it. So I am definitely excited to see how the preseason starts off, and then hopefully we can get everybody healthy and get to week 1 as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I look forward to getting with you after, the game and just look at, the outcome of the game and see who made strides and who's in jeopardy, of staying with the team and just look at the, synopsis of the whole game.
No question. So we're going to sign off for now, but I want to thank everybody for listening. Please check out thegruelingtruth.com for all your sports interests, not just the 49ers, whatever you like. There's podcasts for just about every sport, every team, whatever you're looking for. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the 49ers Weekly Show. So for Dexter Carter, I'm Matt Andruscavage, and we will catch you next time on the Grueling Truth Sports Network, where the legends speak.